I think being a black man, a black young man, I think that word is taken for granted and it's kind of surface level in a lot of friendships. But brotherhood means, honestly, like I can cry on your shoulder, even though you might banter me in like 2 weeks time about the fact that I cried, but I can cry on your shoulder and you'll understand what I'm going through, because the struggles that a young black man goes through in this country and in the world is mad. And to have someone that can understand that and be like, bro, listen, I'm here fighting with you, I'm here sharing in your struggle, and we're gonna make it through, I think that's priceless.
Hi, I'm Adessy. This year, I decided to make a documentary that addresses the current narrative of the young black man. So, I'm focusing on the charity called the Amos Bursary, which is founded by Baroness Valerie Amos and her sister, Colleen. The Amos Bursary has played a key role in the development of some of the country's most influential black boys. And I'm here to discover exactly how they've learned to thrive in a society that works against them.
What makes the Amos Bursary boys different is mindset. So, being surrounded by a lot of like-minded young black men who are all aspirational, all trying to achieve the best that they can. I'm not saying that there aren't other boys that are doing that, but I don't know what it is. It's just that environment just pushes you to another level.
I think it's the fact that we're all similar ages and we get to go to different events which kind of bring us all together. It's kind of like that kind of brotherly kind of atmosphere that you get.
I feel like we get the polish that not a lot of young black men get. So for example, whether that might be dinner in the House of Lords or a networking session at an investment bank, we manage and we learn through people's advice and through mentoring and through presentations and workshops how to kind of like facilitate ourselves in those situations and how to make the best of those situations.
Can't ride without the training wheels. Can't ride without the training. Them man can't ride without the training wheels. I said them man they need training. Can't ride without the training.
Looking through your window, maybe nice you're not home. Bye. Oh.
Yes, Adrian! Let's go. Can you just tell the camera what you were doing?
Huh?
Can you just tell them what you were doing?
I play volleyball. So basically they're doing a 24-hour session of volleyball to raise money for a charity. So if you want to get involved. And my friend that went to my sixth form, he's now the second team captain for the volleyball. So it's just good, man.
Hi, my name's Victor Zivike. I'm a final year student at the University of Warwick, where I study politics and international relations. So obviously I wasn't the best student during secondary school. So secondary school, I got excluded quite a bit. So I got excluded from like year 7 to year 10 about 25 times. Like different things, fighting, like aggressive behavior per se. And what happened is like year 11, that's when I kind of like, I found my primary aim in that year was that I found God, and it was basically the thing that led on from that. It was the turn of 2013 and I was on Google and I was basically like, after night vigil, you know there was night vigils, and I was like, I need to change, like I need to be better. So I typed into Google opportunities for young people in London. And I just remember I went through like Google, I went on the first page, didn't like opened a couple tabs, didn't see anything. And I think it was on the third or the fourth page that I found Excel free, which is, and then basically that led me to the Amos Bursary. So I was like, wow, okay, I've never heard of this, but it looks sick in it. So I said, I'll apply. So I quickly made my application, applied, then I got an interview. And in the interview, it was weird because this is the first time that I went to central London. I think it was like they told me to wear business attire, but them times I didn't have business attire there. So I thought I would want a jumper and like chinos, but they were like mashed up chinos. Then I went to one session and I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. This is really, really interesting. And through that, I got to go to New York. I've got to go to Nairobi to intern. I got the opportunity to speak at the House of Lords, where I met Anthony Jenkins, who was at that time the CEO of Barclays. And it builds confidence. It builds the fact that I can walk into places now and it's like, I belong here. There's a seat at the table for me.
Victor has clearly grown into himself and is comfortable in professional environments. He's definitely not forgotten who he is or where he's come from. However, getting to this point is not an easy process. Many boys are aware of how hard they have to work in order to attain their goals and to break social barriers. Resilience is a term that comes to mind when they describe their journeys.
You're more than whatever you're in. So whether you're struggling through school, you can be at Cambridge, you're still more than what you're in at that time. Because the harsh reality is that you will be judged no matter where you go. In one way or another, you will be judged. I've come from this area. I'm part of this demographic, but I've been able to achieve so many things. I've come to a top 10 uni in the UK, but at the same time, I'm at this uni, but this uni doesn't define me. I'm Treasure, I'm myself. I'm not Warwick University, if you get what I mean.
Ocean. In a world that judges everyone by outward appearance, black men are constantly forced to acknowledge the way that they are perceived by society. But in themselves, they choose how they respond to these perceptions.
How you look is important because that's the first step of your first impression. Like, before you even say anything, like, people kind of guess who you are, which is a bad thing, but it's human habit. People guess who you are just by the way you look.
When people see you and they don't know you, what do you think they see?
Probably like probably a guy that isn't too smart, probably kind of a typical black boy, you know, with my puffer jacket and everything.
When people see young black men, they assume X, Y, and Z, but obviously there's more to you than that. So when you're in a corporate environment, for example, and they're trying to fill their quotas or whatever it is, so you've got your foot in the door, you're in the role that you're in because of maybe you come from this demographic, and sometimes that happens, let's be real. But once you show them that you've got the skills for the job, you've got the passion, you've got the drive, then they'll see past that. They won't just see you as, he's here because he's black. They see you as, he's here because he deserves it.
It's sad to see how calculated the actions of black boys have to be in order for them to be seen in a positive light by those around them. But it's interesting learning how they maneuver themselves in these situations. Something that has come across consistently in these conversations with Amos Bursary boys is the power of decisions and making the right choices.
Being black and being focused and educated are synonymous. They're not separated. A lot of the time in my secondary school, and it's no fault of externals. What I fed myself is the fact that I thought to be black and to be a man wasn't to be smart, wasn't to be focused about academics or professional life. I thought it meant gratifying yourself in the present.
I was talking to one of my boys, I found out that one of my friends, that he's a normal guy, just calm, but just hanging around the wrong people. Going to jail, 24 years. He's got more years than he's lived. And it's just that sort of thing that I just think, if I wasn't in AV, then, not to say I would be there, but anything's possible, that sort of thing. Makes me feel grateful for making the right decisions and surrounding myself with the right people. Because there's nothing to say that, well, apart from my God, but there's nothing to say that I wouldn't be where he is now.
Me and my boy were speaking the other day, and we was like, what is the most effective way we can help change the situation of young black people in the United Kingdom? And it came back to role models, having positive role models for people to see, whether it might be MD in a bank or MP here or a videographer that's like making such amazing screenwriting. That is so amazing because what it provides you with is representation, and representation makes you understand that I can do that. And I feel like that's so important, and I feel like it's our job to do that.
Yeah, so the older guys, they're kind of really, for me anyway, they're kind of an inspiration. So they've obviously achieved quite a lot right now, and they're so willing to kind of help us, the younger generation, try and emulate them. So for me, they're kind of they're figures that you can look to and think actually there's hope.
Some of the boys recognise how important it is to help those who are less fortunate than them. James and David discuss how they've tried to give back to society.
Right now I'm working with London Youth on their youth board, and we kind of try and help shape the policy of the organisation. So what it is basically an umbrella organisation for youth, other youth groups across London. So with my youth group Creative Opportunities, we've actually collaborate with the charity Crisis in order to help combat homelessness. So I guess that's helping to kind of impact the local community in Islington. Eventually, if we become, the next lawyers, the next doctors, the next bankers, we can actually help society as a whole.
I went to Gambia for 3 months in 2015. It was meant to be for a research project, which I did do. But before I went, I knew that I didn't want to just go there and I kind of just see the country, do the work and come home, because I recognise that there probably are people there that are in a less fortunate position than I am. So I want to do something to kind of help while I was in Gambia. I wasn't sure how, but I knew that if I just took some stuff like old clothing, stationery, just anything I could find and could do, and I thought this is a great opportunity. These are children who are less privileged than myself, and it would be a great way for me to give back.
The narrative of a person can change depending on the opportunities that they're exposed to. The Amos Bursary makes a conscious effort to send boys all over the world in order for them to become well-rounded individuals who make an impact in their society.
The statistics have shown that in order for you to have to compete well with the job market, you need to have some sort of international experience that builds cultural awareness, that builds also emotional intelligence and social kind of capital in terms of understanding different things. So when I finished sixth form, I applied to get to the New York Exchange, and I got the New York international experience, spent a month in New York, was working in Manhattan, lived in Brooklyn, absolutely loved it.
Yeah, New York was good. New York was really good. So obviously, I got to go to KPMG and work in KPMG US. We were staying in Brooklyn, and actually the house that we were staying in, have you heard of The Wire? One of the actors in there, his name was Chris Partlow in the TV show. We were actually living in his house, so that was that was pretty sick, yeah. Obviously there's 9 boys living in one house, that's obviously gonna bring a lot of fun as well. Trying to get by in life, cooking, cooking caused a lot of problems.
Can you cook?
For me, yeah, I can cook.
What do you cook?
I can cook fried rice, pasta. Okay, when I say I can cook I can cook to get by. I wouldn't say I'm a great cook, but I can cook.
Although cooking may not be their forte, we cannot deny the maturity of these young men. When looking at the success of these boys, it's essential to acknowledge the people who are willing to invest in them and allow them to recognise that they have the power to write their own narratives. The Amos Bursary boys share their views about Colleen, a CEO who has dedicated a lot of her time into ensuring that these young men reach their full potential.
Colleen's my mom, man, my corporate mom.
Colleen is, she's just amazing.
Colleen, fantastic.
She's almost like a corporate mother figure.
Colleen is the mother of the Amos Bursary.
What Colleen teaches you is she loves you, but she loves you enough to the point where she wants you to reveal who you have been called to be. What is your best ability? She wants you to always achieve that.
I just want to say thank you to Colleen, because she's personally invested a lot of time into me, a lot of effort and energy, and a lot of what I do is just so that I can do as much to kind of give back to Amos Bursary and help her as much as I can.
From hearing the thoughts of these young men and learning about the different environments that they've been exposed to, I thought it would be great to hear the advice that they would give to young black boys, and they seem to have quite a lot to share.
My advice to young black boys would probably be believe in yourself, believe in your greatness, and understand that your potential is unlimited. Society will never tell you how great you are or how great you can be, but knowing in yourself that you can do whatever you want is already a great start.
I want people to kind of see a role model, in essence, in the idea that, okay, cool, Victor's done this. It's not the extent where people say Victor's done this, but oh yeah, Victor's super amazing, so no one else can do it. It's the fact that Victor's done this, so because Victor's done this, you can do this also. I'd say that's the most important thing that I want people to see. The fact that when I tell you we're up next, do you believe me kind of thing, and you're up next, trust me, the spaces that we think are denied to us, they are crying out for us. Follow the narrative that you want. Create your own narrative. The world is so big, and stay focused.
Being a black man in the UK is not easy. However, when people are provided with the opportunities, their journeys can be taken to another level. For many, it's hard to even believe that they can accomplish the extraordinary. But understanding the consequences of your actions and making the right decisions is something that the Amos Bursary has clearly instilled in these young men. They have learned that brotherhood comes from the solidarity in the journey. Knowing that you don't have to do it alone gives these boys the confidence to step out and write their own stories.
Place is a mess. No, G, never not me. Yeah, I see you on the set. Let me shut it down, do it properly. Me and you, we ain't the same. See, I got wordplay for days. I'll be around for a while. Yeah. So you better sit down and be. Time to go cold, cause you know some.